The annual Jazz Art Show takes place at A&M San Antonio, and we are bringing you all the details. A fashion designer from San Antonio uses a unique style to create clothing pieces. We'll tell you who he is and what he does. Texas A&M San Antonio hosted prospective students in the largest Jaguar Day to date. Stay tuned for more. Hello, I'm Alejandro Díaz, and welcome to a new edition of Enlace, bringing you the latest in campus and community news. African-American paintings, poetry, fashion, and food took center stage at the second annual Jazz Art Show. The event was a collaboration between student activities and the First Year Experience Office to provide a look into the cultural significance of African-American expression. Poet and activist Mahogany Brown was a special guest at the event.
As long as you can speak about your position, regardless of your dialect, regardless of where you come from, what you survived, like all of the ways in which you show up into the room are valid. So it's really about valid voice and not shrinking and playing small because it isn't normal here in these spaces. Everywhere we go, we should be celebrated as is, you know what I mean?
The event closes a month of cultural events. Every semester, Texas A&M San Antonio hosts Jaguar Day, inviting prospective students and their families to learn more about the school. Armando Villarreal tells us more from Saturday's event.
We are the only A&M system school.
Heather Lars, a biology freshman, visited the Texas A&M University-San Antonio campus for the first time during Jaguar Day. Heather says she's excited to be the first in her family to attend a four-year university and even more excited to tour the campus.
Very excited actually to come to Jaguar Day because this has always been my dream to come to this school actually and like to be a freshman here, and then when I came I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy.
A&M San Antonio hosted Jaguar Day on February 22nd, an event open for high school and transfer students as well as their families interested in applying at the university. 319 prospective students attended the event, making it the largest Jaguar Day in the university's history.
So we have a lot of different sessions that are showcasing different departments and offices, and ultimately we want to pretty much show all the services that our university has to offer. We have our Mace Center here presenting to students, transfer engagements here, academic advising, campus tours, and so they're leaving with an abundance of information that they can use as they're applying to the university, but also really see what it means to be a Jaguar.
The event held breakout sessions in CAB, Madla, and the Science Technology Building, where people got to choose from various topics including in admissions, financial aid, and resources the university has to offer on and off campus.
It feels a lot better, like instead of like seeing it on camera, like on the internet, like I get to have like a feel of it and like the campus and everyone walking around. Like the students who go here, I got to like talk to them and they're all really nice and they helped me out like getting around because we got lost a few times.
The staff too, they're very nice as well. Very energetic.
All of them.
People gathered at the auditorium to play various trivia games about the university and information about being a college student. The next Jaguar Day will be on March 28th during the spring semester and on June 20th during the summer. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
Following up on our coverage of the novel coronavirus outbreak, Vice President for Student Success, Mari Fuentes Martin, talked to us on what precautionary measures the A&M community is taking. Dr. Fuentes Martin says the campus is at low risk at this moment as no students or faculty have traveled to the affected areas. The campus community, however, is taking precautions for prevention.
Now we feel that we're at low risk. I think that if something serious happens in the state, that we will take guidance from the state, county, and city offices to be more proactive in certain areas. We want students to know that we are taking the coronavirus very seriously, but we're also happy that we're at a low risk, and just to practice good personal health. And if you feel sick or if you feel that you've been exposed, to get care and let us know if you need help accessing care.
Here's some advice on how to prevent the spread of contagious diseases like the flu and the novel coronavirus. Number 1, covering your mouth when coughing or sneezing. Number 2, washing your hands constantly. Number 3, inform the university if you think you might have caught the flu or other virus. Dr. Fuentes Martin assures that A&M San Antonio will offer assistance to students seeking care. And continuing with campus news, we bring you a quick report from around the campus in our new segment, Campus Rapid Report.
The Presidio Gallery opened the exhibit Cattlemen of South Texas. Their auctions, brands, and bulls on Tuesday, February 18th as part of the university's 10-year anniversary. The exhibit pays tribute to the origins of the South Texas cattle industry and key figures who helped pave the way for the once booming industry. A local legend was honored at the reception. The late Humberto Bert Reyes, a pillar in the early stages of cattle auctioning. Most of his remaining family was in attendance, including his daughter, Carmelita.
Antonio was the center of the cattle industry 70 years ago, and today there's not a cow in sight, but it used to be Bexar County had more Herefords than any other county. And so I grew up hearing stories about what used to be, and just on 410 there used to be cattle all over. He and his brothers all attended A&M. He got one of the first scholarships, and for a Latino in the 40s, have access to higher education. It transformed outcomes for our family.
President Mattson discussed the importance of honoring the legacy of Reyes and what it means to the community.
Bert, as he was called, Reyes, was ahead of his time in terms of peeking around the corner of what was going to be important in the cattle auction business. And
it is free and open to the public and will run through December. Students and their families spend Saturday morning together on February to have fun on JAG Family Day, hosted by the Office of Student Transition and Family Engagement. A DJ, yard games, inflatables, and a food truck provided fun and food to attendees in the front lawn. The event featured an amazing race obstacle course where students teamed up with their families to win.
Who's in college, I think there's a disconnect. College students think they don't need their families once they go off to college, but I think that connection needs to stay, and that's what my office is all about, bridging the gap between the student and the family and also the school.
The Office of Student Transition and Family Engagement will be hosting another family event on April 11th right before Easter. It will feature an egg hunt, sports activities, and vendors.
Stay tuned to find out what we can expect for this upcoming week.
Thank you for staying with us, and now we go with Betsy Calderon for our weather forecast.
Thank you, Alejandro. Well, for today's forecast, we see that we're going to have clear skies. So it's going to be a sunny day for San Antonio as the wind starts shifting and coming in from the south. We're expecting warmer temperatures. San Antonio is currently at 57 degrees, but as we go over here by the hill country, we're looking that it's at 54 degrees, making it a little bit colder. This morning, it was a little bit cold, so we had our jackets ready, but as we're progressing through time, it's going to be 60 degrees at 5 p.m., but towards the nighttime, we see that 1 a.m. it'll be 44 degrees, so we're expecting a colder morning. For our extended forecast, we see that Friday it'll be at 71 degrees and Saturday at 72 degrees, while Sunday at 80 degrees. So we're gonna have a nice warm weekend, so it's a perfect time to take your car out for a car wash or have a nice day at the park. But just watch out for Tuesday, as we see that there's a 20% chance of rain, so get your umbrellas ready. But for Wednesday and Thursday, we see that we're having a 76 degrees and on Thursday 75 degrees. So we're going to have warmer temperatures. It's a perfect time to start our March, and just giving us a little preview of our spring break. Back to you, Alejandro.
Thank you, Betsy. Augusto Cuellar is a San Antonio native fashion designer whose rascuache aesthetic transforms clothing items from Goodwill stores into fashionable pieces. Nancy Davies talked to Cuellar about his work and his experience trying to make it into Project Runway.
Augusto Cuellar's unique creations come from taking thrift store finds and turning them into one-of-a-kind pieces. We talked to him about his work at a pop-up sale at the Blue Star.
I'm doing a pop-up shop with some of my sustainable fashion, things that I've actually reworked and redesigned and reconstructed. And I also do vintage wear as well. So today I decided to bring some curated items and see what the response is. Because sometimes this is a place to kind of test new things and see how people react to them.
A lifelong journey has finally brought Calderon full circle. His passion for creating repurposed clothing has given him joy over his career. His unique creations have come from taking thrift store finds and turning them into one-of-a-kind pieces. No piece of fashion that Calderon creates is the same, which brings fun, fashion, humor, and playfulness to people's lives. When anyone decides to adopt one of his repurposed fashions, he's thrilled that they have found their forever homes.
It's been kind of like a lifelong journey that this has taken me to. I just recently did my 20th collection for women's wear.
Calderon's fashions can be found at Goodwill Industries San Antonio. Food Bank San Antonio, Goodwill Industries, and Saks Fifth Avenue will partner together to present the runway benefiting the San Antonio Food Bank, where fashion meets compassion.
I always feel like my work has to make me smile and laugh and react, otherwise I feel like it's not strong enough to put out.
This is Nancy Davies for Enlace.
U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, one of the presidential candidates for the Democratic Party, celebrated his victory in Nevada with a rally here in the Alamo City. Armando Villarreal has more from the event.
So 3 networks in the AP. We have now won the Nevada caucus.
Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders spoke at a campaign rally at Cowboys Dance Hall in San Antonio on February 22nd. Sanders started promoting his campaign in Texas before the presidential primaries on March 3rd. His Texas tour included El Paso, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin.
I've been really motivated for the messages he stands for, Medicare for All. His consistency record, everything that I've seen about him has just been amazing. He's just possibly the once-in-a-lifetime candidate. I think he's perfect for this country, and I can't wait for the rally tonight.
The rally was the first San Antonio campaign stop the senator and presidential candidate made during the 2020 presidential cycle.
I'm 81 years old. I've been listening to the man for a while. I wanted to vote for him last time, but he was cheated. But I hope that won't happen this time. I want to see him make it because he's the best we have.
Sanders spoke about issues from immigration, healthcare, and education.
And we're going to cancel all student debt in this country.
He's challenging the party in more ways than one. Some people may agree with him, some people will not, but you got people thinking. And you got people really looking at what do they want for this country.
However, there were people who disagreed with Sanders. Trump supporters gathered outside the rally to express their opinions.
USA! Latinos for Trump, baby! Latinos for Trump! 4 more years!
Currently, the Democratic candidate is leading the presidential primary election results with 45 delegates. Election day in Texas for the primary will be on March the 3rd, during Super Tuesday, where 14 states will hold primaries and caucuses in the presidential race. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
And now I'm here with Heather Melendez from Stone Goddess Design, who is here to tell us about a special cause that's going on for Fiesta. How are you, Heather?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. So tell us a little bit about this special cause that you guys are running right now.
Right now we're selling Fiesta medals for Wires for Wildlife. All proceeds go to them. When we started this initially, we started it to generate some business into the shop, but then it changed. Right. Ed and I, my husband, we're big animal lovers, and we just thought this would be a good way to help out.
That's excellent. Now, specifically, though, I heard that you guys are trying to help out a specific animal, right?
Koalas.
In Australia, no, in koalas.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many medals are you guys trying to sell right now?
Right now, we have about 75 left. We can get more, so the more we sell, the more money we can give.
Right, of course. Now tell us, where can people find these medals, or where do they have to go in order to donate or help us, you guys, with this cause?
The shop is located at 1730 West Hildebrand in San Antonio.
And what do you guys do in Stone Goddess Design?
We sell gemstones, minerals, handcrafted jewelry.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for being with us, and we hope you reach that such a nice cause.
Thank you.
And for when we come back, Christian Rodriguez brings us the latest in sports in a new edition of Jaguar Sports.
Hello, I'm Christian Rodriguez and welcome to Jaguar Sports, bringing you the latest in sports from this past week. Let's get to the action. It's known as the I-35 Showdown as the Spurs faced the Dallas Mavericks last week at home after going just 2-6 on their annual rodeo road trip. The Spurs played without LaMarcus Aldridge, who was sidelined with a sore right shoulder. Spurs were down as much as 15 and were able to cut it within 7 until Mavs' Tim Hardaway Jr. stretched the lead to 10 at the half. Mavs' Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis stole the show with a combined 54 points between the two. Spurs' DeMar DeRozan continued his red-hot shooting, finishing with 27 points. But in the end, it was just too much Dallas as the Spurs fall to the Mavs 109-103. In XFL this week, the Houston Roughnecks keep rolling as they defeated the Tampa Bay Vipers 34-27. Quarterback P.J. Walker finished with 306 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns, all of them to star receiver Cam Phillips, who had a monster day to go with 8 catches for an XFL season high of 194 yards. Phillips' 84-yard touchdown gave the Roughnecks the early lead in the first quarter, but the Vipers wouldn't stop striking until the fourth quarter when Walker threw the 17-yard game-winning touchdown to Cam Phillips. The Roughnecks improved to 3-0 and will visit the Dallas Renegades in a Texas showdown at 3 p.m. Sunday. Thousands of fans poured into the Staples Center last week to remember the lives of late NBA star Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others who lost their lives in a helicopter crash last month. Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa Bryant, spoke to the public for the first time since her husband and daughter's death. Many basketball legends were in attendance, including our very own Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and DeMar DeRozan, including special performances by Beyonce, Alicia Keys, and Christina Aguilera. Shaquille O'Neal and Vanessa Bryant share their memories of Kobe and Gianna. Texas A&M University
I take comfort in the fact as we speak, Kobe and Gigi are holding hands, walking to the nearest basketball court. Kobe will show her some new Mamba moves today, and Gigi soon masters them. Kobe, your heavens MVP. I love you, my man, till we meet again. Rest in peace.
God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together. You take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco.
Texas A&M University-San Antonio has a new coach this semester. Travis Yang is set to start coaching an esports team, and here is Jessica Lann with the story.
Texas A&M University-San Antonio has just hired its first esports coach, Travis Yang.
So esports is basically competitive video gaming. The best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a parallel to traditional sports. So prior to this, I was the assistant esports coach at Ashland University up in Ohio, kind of near the Cleveland area. And I was basically a part of their build up from the ground up as well. So I'm kind of having to do the similar thing here. So first step is just to reach out, just get in contact. We have a kind of general form available right now, like an application type form, and it's on our Twitter. Tamusa Esports. So if you go there, it'll just let you put in your basic info, what games you're interested in, what your skill level is roughly, and that way I can get in touch with those students. After that, it's a matter of kind of just following the traditional tryout process. We'll do maybe a phone interview, maybe try to bring them on campus for a visit so I can see them in person, and then potentially having them try out with a team if we have a team already at that point. And then just seeing how it really fits. If the student likes the team, if the team likes the student, then we can go from there. We might run or support, quote unquote, 3 to 4 games. So we'll have a team in each game. For example, we might have a team in Overwatch, would be 6 people. We might have a team Ultimate Team, which would be 5 people.
The Campus Recreation Center student worker Miles Eggleston tells us why he shows interest in joining the team.
Well, for the future, I think the goal is to be able to play against other colleges, provide things like scholarships and other opportunities. into like minor leagues and pro leagues within Overwatch. That's the main goal, but also just like to provide a fun experience. You know, not a lot of colleges get to do this, so it'll be unique.
For Enlace, this is Jessica Lann.
So I'm here today joined by Marshall Best, a communication student at A&M San Antonio. So Marshall, what were your thoughts of the Kobe Bryant memorial service, and how do you think it went to you?
It was a beautiful service. Michael Jordan spoke. He has a new crying meme now. Joked. Shaq spoke. Vanessa Bryant spoke. You know, she was very strong, be coming out, you know, speaking after her husband's and daughter's death. So it was good.
What did you think about some of the performances that they had, like with Christina Aguilera and Beyonce?
Yeah, they all sang really well. Christina, Beyonce, and Alicia Keys. You know, three of my favorite artists. They did really, really well. It was beautiful tribute to Kobe.
Now going to the Spurs, man, they're struggling this season. Might not make the playoffs probably for the first time in 22 years, I believe so.
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, it's rough. You have too many guards, not enough talent on the team. There's other teams coming up like the Pelicans with Zion. Memphis is looking good with Ja Morant, so the Spurs just need to retool.
And what do you think? What do you think is one thing they should work on going into the off season after this season? Like, what do they really need to pick up?
They need to get another big and another wing player to help with rebounding, because right now their rebounding is not very good. And other than that, they're a solid team. Just a couple more pieces.
And I don't know if your thoughts on the XFL this season. How do you think it's been going this season?
It's getting popular. It's popular after the AAF closed down last year. It's replacing it, so it's pretty good.
It's really awesome to see like the Houston Roughnecks. They're the only I believe they're the only undefeated team in the XFL league right now, and they're doing pretty good job right now this season.
Absolutely, they're doing really, really well. So awesome to say that. You can follow me in coverage of some of these teams. I have a sports podcast, Stats versus Facts, Sports Talk. So check it out. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. So check it out.
All right, then. Well, thank you, Marshall, and it's a pleasure to have you here, and we'll hope to see you again next week.
Thank you.
Now we'll have Armando Barela to bring us our second edition of Located Local after the break.
Welcome back. Now here's a peek at cultural events happening around the city.
Thinking of senior homes? An art gallery is probably the last thing you would think to find. But hidden in the Primrose Monticello Senior Apartments, there's an exhibit that highlights more than just art. Bill House is a gallery that aims to draw in local art lovers while involving the senior living at Primrose. This month, the house was the primary site of an art tour that features artists living on and around Fredericksburg Road.
For many of the artists, this is the only weekend in the year that their studios are open to the public. So it's a very special weekend and very intimate. You never know what you're going to find when you walk into one of the studios. Sometimes they're tiny little backyard sanctuaries. Other times we have two that are actually old grocery stores.
The tour leads participants to 60 different studios from artists in the area. People were able to walk up to displays, admire and mingle with the artists as they proudly show their work. San Antonio closed Mardi Gras week with smooth music at the Sunday Jazz Fest this past weekend. The San Antonio Riverwalk Association brought people together to honor jazzman Jim Cullum at the Arneson River Theater. Guests at the event also got to witness performances by Billy Ray Shepherd, the Munoz Brothers Band, and DV Jazz. The event featured vendors, food trucks, and colorful river barges.
It brings people who live here locally down to the Riverwalk, and it also brings people from out of town, so it's good for our economic tourism. It's a lot of fun.
Sketcher reminds us that events like this are important for bringing the community together.
We can ask a Jaguar. We asked students who would be their first guest if they had a TV talk show. Let's see what they had to say.
Steve Irwin, may he rest in peace. He just seemed like such a genuine guy.
Mike Tyson, because he's always been a prominent figure.
Shakira, and that's only to ask what her stance is in regards to the controversy.
We have Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, the band,
because actually his real name is Steve Tallarico, which is my last name.
Be Vicente Fernandez, because being Mexican and growing up with his music.
That would be Will Smith. I like his work in his movies, his innovation just as an actor himself.
Ryan Reynolds coming out with the Deadpool movies. He's shown he's pretty funny and everything.
Probably be Luke Bryan, because I've been a fan of country for like a really long time.
He's my best friend because our conversations are like crazy.
Hey locators, on this episode of Located Local, we headed over to the 78216 zip code to dig into some gourmet hot dogs. From Frito pie to elote, even vegan options, you can find tons of unique Mexican fusions on top of hot dogs. And if hot dogs are really not your thing, you can turn it into a burger. Let's take a look. The Dogfather is located just south of North Star Mall off San Pedro. Co-owner Patrick Carell gave us a tour around the menu and showed us what the Dogfather is all about. With today being National Chili Day, we could not pass up the opportunity to try the Frito Pie Dog. This dog is topped with chili, cheese, Fritos, crema, and jalapenos. Looking at these combinations, one might wonder how someone comes up with a rare take on a hot dog.
It's kind of random. Things that are out there in the world, we try to make a smaller version just so we can put it on a hot dog. If there's something that's trendy, we want to take that idea and try to see how we can put it on top of a hot dog or a bun in a bun in some way.
One unique spin on every gourmet hot dog is the buns are rolled in a rosemary and garlic oil before a crosshatch is imprinted on the bun. Carell credits most of their success to social media.
Well, it means a whole lot. It's huge. We have a huge following on social media. We do have people geared up whenever we do post our Monday post for the hot dog and the burger. They're loving it, they're liking it, and they're sharing it like crazy. And it's huge for us because it's a big response. And we do feedback. We ask for good feedback on those items.
The Dogfather prides themselves on originality.
We do have some more streamlined dogs, but they are all unique. And I think that's a big part of it, is trying to be unique with your product. And that's something that we just happen to do very well.
Let's be frank, these dogs are one of a kind. For Enlace, Amanda Barela.
Well, that's all for us today, but don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at Univision Lab on Instagram and Twitter, and on Facebook at Univision Media Lab. See you next time.